Hello and good evening. I hope everything is going your way. Um, Everything is going as it's gonna go, guys. You know, water doesn't get to pick which way it flows. It just flows. Sometimes water has to make a way. It erodes things and carves out little caves under the ground and just goes over stuff and around stuff and all that. Funny story, I was out tonight doing the dashing of the doors, right? I was dashing some doors and I noticed something really funny, guys. As I grow spiritually, like my car shocks me, right? Like at first, in winter it's real bad. You know how like you got different clothes made of different material than like your seats, and you're kind of vibrating on them. You store up a little bit of static, and then you get a little shock if you don't grab the top of the door as you get out first. Yeah, I noticed that since I've had that car probably about a year now. As I grow spiritually, the shocking gets louder. It's like it becomes, and it's not just in my imagination. I've noticed that if I rub my hand, it looks like a machine gun sometimes. So I'm rubbing my hand across the door. It just, and so as I clear things up and grow spiritually, the capacity of the battery must expand. And I'm not the only one. Like I said, tonight I got out of the house and I got out of the door without getting shocked. And I'm like, I'm going to be walking up this driveway. And the universe is going to find it extremely hilarious to shock me with like a 12-foot long streak of lightning from that car. And I was thinking that, and then the person answered the door. This never really happens. The person who came outside to meet me and get the food. That never really happens. And as they grabbed it, I heard the shock. It was pow, like a firecracker, and that person, ouch! This, ah, this, did you feel that? I know you heard it. All I can say was, yeah. We was laughing. It sounded just like a firecracker. And it's, ow! And so, if you asked me what twin flames, guys, twin flames is about spiritual growth. It really is. I grow all the time. A lot of growth stems from healing in people. It doesn't always stem from there, but it's kind of like when you get some people, there are many people who have many different opinions and viewpoints on twin flames. I draw a little bit from all of them. There's something we can learn from everybody. Some people think God really loves you. He gave you this. He knew you could handle it. He gives his strongest warriors the hardest battles. And so I like to say this. Getting a twin flame is a lot like getting sent to the principal's office. God done said, you messing up too much on that earth. I love you, and I know you love me. I need you to heal some things, so here's this. You never knew this, but you have a carbon copy of yourself. You both got the same soul. You're in different bodies, and I saved it just for this. You got past the preliminary rounds. Here's your twin. I'm fine. Thanks for asking. How are you? Thanks for watching. So getting access to your twin flame, getting it turned on and revealed to you, it's a lot like going to the principal's office in school. But the principal really likes you, right? So they're like, I want to see you do good. I want to see you learn. You won't go take yoga. You won't go to church. You won't go join a monastery. You got such potential. I know you, little wild animal. I love it. Here you go. Here's yourself in another body. Have fun. I'm a fast learner because I you know me and my twins separate. It usually lasts about 2 days. And then we've learned something, and you can feel it too because the energy surges. Some people call it like a kundalini rising. I just like to think of it as an energy surge. It's powerful energy, and it flows through us. And so I realize that yeah, really. I've noticed that when I write it down, it happens like quick. Something I learned though is it's all on like the divine's timing. It's all on God's timing. Okay, like the universe, source, whatever we may call it. So I don't ever like say it's gonna happen at this second or this minute or this hour. Not on my timing. I just got the message, you know. But twin flame's about spiritual growth. If you fall in love with your twin and you can have a happy relationship with them, good for you. But you need to understand like why all your emotions are the way they are. You need to understand like this is the key. Okay, liberation. Some people think of it as enlightenment, and it doesn't matter. It means the same thing. You need to ask yourself something. When you feel yourself getting dependent, and dependency manifests and feels like this in us, it feels like I can't live without that person. It starts to physically hurt, right? It starts to obsession, everything. This is the key to freedom, and I wrote about this, and my writing is more poetic and eloquent. Here, I try to just give you the simple versions. But anytime you feel like that, it stems from a need that has not been met at some point, probably in early childhood. Who knows? It's up to you to find out. Some people ask themselves, it's like self-inquiry. Some people meditate. Some people start to observe what's going on in moments. They flip out. I was guilty of that. I still do it sometimes, and all we can do is mess up and try again, and forgive and ask for forgiveness when we mess up, and because ain't none of us perfect, and it is hard to learn, especially for me, some people, but So when my twin ran off this time, and first you go through the I'm irritated, how dare they leave, and then I started to go, why do I feel this way when they go? And then I had a thought. It was like a memory. It was like a flash, a thought. You know, whether it's an idea, a memory, whatever. It's all under a thought, because that's what happens in the mind. And we use the mind to view these things. And an out-of-control mind is really just the ego using your mind without your consent, essentially. So, and I saw it, and I remembered, yeah, it's the same reason that I can't get the screen out of my face. I couldn't. Watch this. We break chains. In my camp, we break chains. And so ever since I was a kid, my parents worked full time. One worked daytime, one worked nighttime. I was pretty much left alone to my own devices. I had video games. Before that, I had like VCR tapes of like The Lion King. I really loved that cartoon. And then video games, and then the internet, and I essentially made an unhealthy bond in human terms, in physical needs. With we're not the body, but bear with me. With physical needs being connected to screen, because the screen is where the video game came from, the Lion King came from, the other shows came from, the internet came from. And so the need that wasn't met was loneliness, lack of social companionship, social interaction. And that's okay, because today I had that revelation. And in a second, that knowledge transmutes to knowing. Knowledge and knowing casts out ignorance and ends suffering, because suffering is ignorance. Because ignorance is like the unknown. We can use pretty language and poetry. I do. We call it like the darkness. I have to fire myself up. In the source material I like in the Old Testament, it says David encouraged himself. He said, "That which is in me, he that is in me, that which is in me, he is greater than all the world." And sometimes we got to fire ourselves up because nobody else is going to do it. And whatever frees you from what binds you to suffering, whatever ignorance is upon you and in you, whatever it takes to get closer to the God, the divine, the source, whatever, you do that. Doesn't matter what I tell you, it don't matter what anyone tells you, you do that. And absolutely. And so I realized that today, and it really was. In a second, it dawned on me. I am trying to use this other person, my twin, to fulfill a need. And anything or anyone who got in between me and that grounding point that I had made my twin into was getting out of the way. And then I could see it. And when you can see it, when you understand that's why it's happening, you are separate from it. I'm going to give you a cool story about if you recognize this, I did rip it off. But it's a cool story, so bear with me. I'm going to tweak it. All right, so you have like this dark night, right? There was this dark night one time, and he had to go slay an evil enemy, right? And he went, and the enemy drew their power from the same place he did, from darkness. Now, while he tried to use darkness in a good way, it was ineffective and would not work on his adversary. So he had to make a pilgrimage, a spiritual journey. He had to climb a mountain. He had to go on the hero's journey. He had to climb up a mountain. And at the top was a shrine. And in this shrine, he was told, once you get to the top of Mount Ordeals, you will encounter a shrine. And he was told by a wise man this, by a prophet, whatever you can apply there. And the prophet told him, if you climb that mountain and you manage to survive and you get to that shrine at the top of that mountain overlooking the whole world, and you go inside of it, you'll find exactly what you need if you survive to destroy the adversary that's destroying the earth or the world or whatever, and save the day. So the dark night, he climbed, and he got to the shrine, and he got in it. And by God, it was a mirror. But it was a magic mirror. And the mirror was him. And he had to fight his mirror image. This is a cliche thing, but bear with me. And the mirror copy of him came out of the mirror and they fought. Well, he was losing. At some point, when he became desperate enough to finally surrender, about that time, it dawned on him, I cannot defeat him with a sword. I have to surrender. And when he surrendered, he could see it as separate as himself. He said, that is not me. That is not me. That is something else, but it isn't me. And in that moment of surrender and realizing that that was not who he was, it transmuted into light, and it came into him, and he became Holy Knight, Paladin, right? And he was able to overcome the adversary, only after he realized that that was not who he was, and that power that he used, it wasn't his power. His power was greater than that. And he came to the conclusion that he was using the wrong thing to satisfy his need. And no one can satisfy our needs but us. That means Jesus said this. He said, love your neighbor as yourself. To love your neighbor, you would have to love yourself first, or you can't love your neighbor. Or it becomes something like codependency, because then you're trying to fulfill the love in yourself through another person. That means they walk off, you're going to freak out. You're going to go into defense mode, because you're going to want to, oh God, they're taking it away from me. I got to protect it. Oh God. Instead of, it's okay. I respect your right to leave, and because I know where love comes from. It doesn't mean we clam up and become selfish. It just means that we can have real love between others and ourselves. Not something that's turned into some kind of weird transaction, not something that's codependency, not anything like that. If you planted like flowers, right, you went outside, or tomatoes or whatever, if you planted some vegetables and you went outside and you hounded them for food, right, to the point that you weren't patient, and you weren't able to understand and respect them and their time they need to grow and produce you something to feed you, and then be grateful for it, you would be yelling at that plant. You would infuriate yourself to the point where you rip that plant out in frustration and you abuse the plant, so to speak, right? So you have to love yourself, and that means that if you can't, there's a need inside of you. You've got to fulfill that need, and you ask. Anytime you're attached to someone and they're giving you something that you feel you can't live without, that means you're not giving it to yourself. That means you've got to figure out what need and why it is not met that this person is fulfilling. Yeah. If you think of it in terms of an electrical circuit, then what is the solution to an unmet need but the path of least resistance to ground, and ground leads back to source? And we get the ego out of the way, we're closer to source, we're closer to God. That's what we're trying to do, and we find out where God really is. And so, and what is life when we flip out and lash out but a voltage surge or a voltage spike that is meant to overcome the resistance blocking us from our path to ground. If we can overcome that, it is just we'll blow a fuse. So as people get really, really, really mad sometimes and they have a heart attack or something, it's kind of like blowing a fuse, man. And a lot of people who die from stress real early, I bet that they don't realize that what led them to that was they weren't meeting their own needs. It leads to an unhealthy lifestyle. And that's really all I have to say about it. My tip, what I've learned so far from twin flames, here's my tip. Whatever your twin is doing for you in your life, whatever need they're fulfilling for you, figure out why you can't do it. Ask yourself, why? Why do they fulfill it but I can't? Chances are a lot of people are like, oh my God, I can't live without my twin. It hurts to be apart from them. That honestly isn't how love is supposed to be. You're supposed to say, like, I need you in a romantic way. It's not supposed to be, I need you or life or death is going to happen. It's not supposed to be like that. So, figure out at what point you, at some point that you weren't able to have a need met like that. And they're meeting it for you. And if you can answer that question, what is so and so doing for me that I can't do for myself, and you figure it out, I promise you, you will be able to fulfill that need, and the madness will stop. You'll know when you get it, because Eureka! Great Scott! I got it! You'll know. Remember, Twin Flames is ultimately for spiritual growth. If you follow, I'm not one of those people that you can't love your twin, but make sure it's real love, the right stuff, right? You don't want to be drinking poison or being or toxifying somebody else and thinking that's love. Love feels like that song, like a, do that to me one more time. Yeah. And it's as easy as the other song. Loving you is easy because you're beautiful. And it's like a stream formed by melting ice on top of a mountain that forms a river, and it flows down somewhere like California, and it flows down to a blue lake below, a beautiful blue lake that's copper infused, because that's what makes it blue, and it's beautiful. Yeah, that's how it should be. And if it's not, there's a reason. And it's just like if I were diagnosing a car. Just like if I was diagnosing a car. I would need to understand what was wrong with the car, why the things work the way they do, why they're broke. And then I could fix it. So guys, that's all I got to say for tonight about it. Thanks for watching. Good luck out there. All right. And you can do it. Yeah, I know it hurts. Believe me. But healing, it kind of hurts no matter what you're healing. So just keep at it. You can do all things. You can do it. I hope everything goes your way. And I believe in you that you can make it so if it ain't. Have a good night.